reports, sir, that your campaign has received a $500 campaign donation from a white supremacist in West Palm Beach.
He does not like the United States, any policy the United States of America has pursued anywhere in the world or at home for the last century or so. Now, he's a crank, but there's a market for cranks.
He says that those people who won't pay their taxes should be compared to Gandhi and Martin Luther King. He's here to explain. All right, these guys are holed up in there, and they're heroes to you. Right, Congressman?
Wrong. I've never said that.
You're talking to the wrong guy. Did you say he was a crackpot?
No.
Well, he's a crackpot, John, and you know, the extreme right has always hated Lincoln. The extreme left hates Lincoln, and
so you did these statements that you did apparently linked to that. You're saying that is not the case.
No, because I've never advocated violence.
However, I have found out that he spoke at a pro-secession conference in 1995.
These are some comments made of your performance. Here's Roger Simon writing in the Politico. In terms of the presidency, nobody cares what Ron Paul says, perhaps not even Ron Paul.
What's success for you in this campaign?
What's success? Well, to win is one is the goal.
That's not going to
And in the Daily News of New York, an editorial, Ron Paul, whose performance Tuesday proved him the Sanjaya of the political arena.
And what he does, Tucker, is he speaks in code. He's a transmitter. He'll say certain things that, you know, at first might not appear to be overtly racist, but to certain audiences, they know what he's talking about.
I think if you want to be a serious candidate, I think you got to say serious things, and you can't sound like Ron Paul.
The chairman of the Michigan Republican Party says he's going to try to get you, and perhaps others, but you specifically, pushed out of future debates. He said of you, I think he would have felt much more comfortable on the stage with the Democrats in what he said last night.
It's an extraordinary statement. As someone who lived through the attack of September 11, that we invited the attack because we were attacking Iraq. I don't think I've ever heard that before, and I've heard some pretty absurd explanations for September 11.
But not every candidate scored well when it came to foreign policy. In fact, the most negative thing that we have tested so far in all of these debates was Ron Paul talking about Iran.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he didn't really mean that.
Commander of the Fifth Fleet was on ABC and announced that, you know, that voice might not have come from those vessels.
You're basically saying that we should take our marching orders from Al-Qaeda. If they want us off the Arabian Peninsula, we should leave.
No!
We have never had, in all the time that we've been testing, such a negative response by any candidate to any state.
Ron, you're reading their propaganda. You're reading their propaganda.
What would you do?
I'd read their.
many of your supporters call themselves 9/11 truthers. They believe that the U.S. government was in some way complicit with the 9/11 attacks or covered it up.
That's the problem, is that you have people who are pandering too much to the center, or you have people who are, like Ron Paul, who are certifiably insane.
You have to deal with the monetary issue to solve the problem of the medical issue.
Senator Thompson?
So if we would stop printing so much money, we could get out of the war and provide health care to everybody.
Get out of the war, we wouldn't have to print the money.
I just want
What's
to make
wrong with
I just
backing
wanted
the money by something?
Let him
make sure I have
another question about electability. Do you have any, sir? There's always the question as to whether or not you...
You said Ron Paul was the loser tonight. There you go, Sean, you've got a winner. Fred Thompson, loser Ron Paul.
I think Congressman Paul should not be reading as many of Ahmadinejad's press releases. But let's
let me see if I get this right. We need to borrow $10 billion from China, and then we give it to Musharraf, who's a military dictator who overthrew an elected government, and then we go to war, we lose all these lives promoting democracy in Iraq. I mean, what's going on here?
We do see risks to inflation, and we are taking those into account, and we want to make sure that prices remain as stable as possible in the United States.
But how can you do this and pursue this
the policy you have without further weakening the dollar. There's a dollar crisis out there, and people's money is being stolen. I'm the most conservative member here. I have voted, against more spending and wasting government than anybody else. So you're suggesting that I'm not electable and the Republicans don't want me because I'm a strict fiscal conservative?
Today, I think inner city folks and minorities are punished unfairly in the war on drugs. For instance, blacks make up 14% of those who use drugs, yet 36% of those arrested are blacks, and it ends up that 63% of those who finally end up in prison are blacks. This has to change. We don't have to have more courts and more prisons. We need to repeal the whole war on drugs. It isn't working.